So hey guys, I wanted to show you this cool trick. Now, before I really get into it, kind of go over a little bit of background. I guess since about, I don't know, July, I haven't had a cell phone with actual service on it. I did this more or less as an experiment, but also because I thought it was dumb to be paying for a phone that I hardly ever used. So I just let the service lapse on it and let everything go, but I kept the phone, so I'm still using Galaxy S3. Where the hell is it? This phone, this Galaxy S3, is like 8 years old. 2012 is when we got these, I think. It is on another second or third battery by now, but it's still a pretty darn good phone for how old it is. It still works with most of the apps. There's a couple apps that don't work, but I don't use those apps. So basically, the only thing I use this phone for is like the calculator. I have my Google Voice on here, which I'll go into in a minute here. And I used to have Facebook Messenger on here. I've let that go too much information. So basically the point is I wanted to get away from all of the surveillance. There's just too much surveillance going on in our society today, and it's bullshit and it's bad for you, as George Carlin might say. So there's things you can do to avoid the watch of Big Brother so much. I mean, I get it. I'm being watched too. I'm making a video. Obviously, it's getting watched. But like my day-to-day activities and all the metadata that big tech likes to collect, I don't give them a real clear picture. Give them a real clear picture, and I do that by not carrying a cell phone around. So if we're using my metadata to track my location, all you're basically going to see is me going to work and back. That's it. I don't really take my phone anywhere else. What's the point? It only works on Wi-Fi. So as soon as I step out of here, the phone only operates on GPS and its very most basic circuits. It's still communicating with the network. You just don't have access to the network. But your phone, if it is turned on, still has access to the network. It's still communicating with the nearest tower, still reporting your location data, and all the other metadata that your smartphones collect. So what do? You can't really do much unless you get rid of it entirely. But that in our society is becoming harder and harder. As many of you know, a lot of you probably use two-factor authentication already on some of your more secure web apps, and maybe your bank account, maybe PayPal or whatever, maybe through work. You have to use two-factor authentication now. And so it's making it more and more difficult to live life without a smartphone, and that's done by design. So there's a middle ground that I've kind of found, and that's getting a Google Voice number. You can literally eliminate your phone bill forever and have a Google Voice number. Now the downside is it's provided by Google, and they're like probably spying on you and recording every little thing you do on your phone, but that's just a risk you're going to have to take if you choose to use their service. But basically, you sign up for a Google Voice number. You get to pick out a number that's local to your area, and the cool part is you can forward it to any cell phone. So you don't have to get rid of your cell phone. You can have a track phone or just a regular flip phone, and you can use Google Voice and forward your phone number to that track phone. That way nobody ever really knows like what your actual phone number is on your cell phone. They can just call your Google Voice number as your forwarding number, and it can go to your cell phone. People can contact you that way, and that's nice if you like to use disposable phones and change your phone number frequently. You can still tell your close colleagues and friends to use your Google Voice number, and you have basically full control over it. You can choose to turn it forwarding on, turn forwarding off. There's all these different options in the settings, and in fact you can also text, and there's voicemail as well, which also transcribes your messages poorly, by the way. And but I've been using it for a few years now. I guess I was one of the pioneers, and it's been getting better and better over time, and now it's gotten to the point where it can replace your cell phone. You don't need cell phone service, you don't need landline service. All you need is your internet service. And guess what? How many of you are already paying for internet service? Probably most of you. So if you're already paying for internet service, there's no need to pay more money for a phone bill, even a cell phone bill, unless you actually need one. In my particular case, I don't actually need a cell phone. I really do just go to the shop here and back to my house and occasionally to the store. COVID or not, I mean, that's just what I do. Nothing really changed for me in March last year. It's kind of business as usual as far as that goes. But Google Voice works for me because I don't need to be that mobile. Now the cool thing about it is you can set it up to ring in multiple locations. So you can have it ring on your cell phone, your tablet, and your laptop at 3 different places. And you can answer the phone, answer text messages on those devices. And it's really quite convenient. For example, I like to be able to use a full-size keyboard on my desktop and respond to text messages that way. It's just a lot easier for me, and I can easily add emojis or pictures through attachments just like you would a normal chat program on your computer. Or I can just use the phone, and it's just super convenient. But the best part is after a while you can just shut off your phone, and you can still use the forwarding service and answer on your device when it's on Wi-Fi. So that's basically what I do, is only use these devices on Wi-Fi. And I've been doing that for 3 months or something. Since July, August, I can't really remember when I actually gave it up, but it was in the late summer when I did so. So anyway, let me show you how that works. What you do, you should go to Google Voice, sign up, pick your number and all that stuff, and then get one of these guys. This little device right here. It's a converter. Converts the signal from Google Voice, communicates with Google Voice, and it sends out an RJ11 cable, which goes to plain old Jane telephone. And as you can see, there's a nice dial tone in there, and that just works like any old phone with one exception. You guys probably saw that on the corner of the box right here. No emergency calls. So the downside is Google Voice is it's a VoIP number. You can't use it to dial 911, but you can still call your local dispatch if you know their phone number. That's what I do. I have that memorized. And even if I don't, it doesn't matter. Because even though there's no service on this thing here, if you go in here, now you can't dial, or I should say, let's see, this is locked. We'll lock it. It has no service, but it does. Basically what I'm trying to say is you can make 911 calls on any cell phone that works. If it powers up, if it tries to communicate with the network and says it doesn't have a SIM card, you can still dial 911 with that cell phone. So you don't actually have to put service on your cell phone unless you really do need to be mobile. You know, if you can get by on Wi-Fi only and set it up in a certain number of spots, you know, maybe you'll have a Wi-Fi at your work, maybe one at the library, one at school, one at home, one at your friend's house, and throughout your little network of nodes, you can be semi-mobile, get all your messages and texts just by dropping by one of your Wi-Fi hotspots and never having to pay for service again. And then you just have to basically own your phone. Yeah, you can't take advantage of all the deals that they scam you with when they sign you up for cell phone service, but it's not hard to buy a phone. They're not that expensive. Depends on what you're getting. So anyway, I thought I'd just share that with you because that's one way to remove yourself from the big watchful eyes of big tech, basically. They don't need to know every little thing that you're doing. So I made this other video last week and I uploaded it to my channel, and it was immediately blocked worldwide. Nobody got to see it, 0 views. I deleted it later, but the reason is because of copyright. And I've had a lot of these before. Like, I usually record my videos with some kind of music in the background, and this particular video, they just freaked out. All the other videos are like, fine, play the song in your video, we'll just give royalties to that artist if there's any ad revenue on your video. So I'm like, whatever, I don't even have 1,000 subs anyway, so it doesn't matter, I'm not monetized. But this one just got blocked. And I think the reason was because I had too many songs. There must have been like 30 songs on that video, so maybe they couldn't divide the royalties up enough to satisfy everybody, but yeah, I'll have to figure out a soundtrack for that video because I put a lot of work into it. It's been in the works since last summer, and I just finished it. So it kind of pissed me off that they gave me a strike and they blocked that thing. But anyway, I'll re-upload it after I come up with a new soundtrack for it. So I have to basically do a voiceover. It's gonna look kind of cheesy, but it is what it is. It's certainly better than, you know, not even having a channel anymore, which is what happens to some people. They just end up losing their channel outright. So anyway, you don't need your cell phone. And if you realize that you don't need it, you should probably just let the service go on it. Save yourself a few bucks. Anyway, I'm going to get going. You guys have an awesome night. Peace.